This is Ryan Gersick reporting live from Manhattan. Tonight we're covering a tragic and deeply troubling story out of New York City. The death of 22-year-old Khalif Browder, a young man whose life was forever altered by a justice system that failed him at every turn. Last Saturday, on the 6th, Khalif Browder died by suicide at his home in the Bronx. He was just 22 years old, but his story and the injustice he lived through has already started a national conversation. Khalif was arrested in 2010 when he was only 16 years old. The charge, you may ask? Allegedly stealing a backpack, something he always denied. One man accused him of robbery, and that was enough to land Khalif in jail just because his family couldn't afford the $3,000 bail. He was sent to Rikers Island, New York City's largest jail complex. What happened next is almost unimaginable. Khalif spent nearly 3 years at Rikers without ever being convicted of a crime. The case against him dragged on through repeated delays, lost paperwork, and court postponements. He was never given a fair trial. In fact, he was never even tried at all. This is a graphic of him in jail. Khalif spent about 2 of those 3 years in solitary confinement, locked alone in a cell for 23 hours a day. For any man, this is isolation, and it's cruel and it's devastating. During his time at Rikers, Khalif was physically assaulted by both other inmates and corrections officers. Footage later released showed some of those beatings, sparking public outrage. But by the time the charges against him were finally dropped in 2013, the damage had already been done. Khalif came home a free man, but he was not the same. He spoke about the trauma he endured. He tried to move on, going back to school, speaking publicly, even sharing his story in interviews in the hopes of helping others. But that trauma followed him. He struggled with depression and mental illness, and this past weekend, it became too much. Khalif Browder took his own life. Not only is this a violation of the right to life, due to him being locked away for years, missing precious milestones with his family like birthdays and holidays, it is also a violation of political rights because every man deserves to be an active part of public affairs and contribute to the common good of society. Khalif Browder's death is not just a tragedy, it's an indictment of the bail system, of the use of solitary confinement, of the way poor communities are treated in America's justice system. His story has reached the highest levels of government. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio has called for reform at Rikers. Civil rights activists are demanding changes to the bail system that traps people in jail simply because they're poor. Khalif didn't want to be famous. He just wanted to be heard. And now that he's gone, we owe it to him to listen. This is Ryan Gersick reporting on the life and loss of Khalif Browder. May he rest in peace, and may his story help bring justice to others. Now back to you in the studio.